Hey guys, so today we have an APR soap, the last of a APR and oleo lot that I received. I got a couple of repeats in there, and so I haven't brought those to you, but um, but the ones that I did get, I've already showed you, and I've really enjoyed several of the options that are here. This one from the description and from my little sniff earlier, it might be a big hit. I'm looking forward to trying Ozymandias from AP Reserve, Australian Private Reserve APR. And then the brush is the Zenith Boar brush, and it's the B23, I believe. And for the first 21 uses, this guy was really stiff, but he is, I'm enjoying him in these last few shaves, and that's just what happens with boar brushes. There's a certain time where they're not very enjoyable because they're so stiff and they ruin lathers and things like that. But then you just got to keep pushing through, and it's usually not too long before you end up in a good place. And I've started to enjoy them now, and they're just going to get even better from here. Like I mentioned in the last shave, I'm going to be using the Sabre from Blackland, and I'm going to put the same blade I used yesterday, the PTFE blade from Jim. And so this guy has 3 shaves on him before today. So let's load him up. So this is, the Sabre is like a three-piece razor, like a 3-piece DE, because you got the top cap and a post. Just so happens that the post is a little different shape, so it can fit in that hole that the SE blades have. I will also remind, if you're new to SE razors, do not use the utility kind of blades like you might have for box cutter knives. They may look exactly the same, may even have the same brand as a gem or something like that, but they should not be used. They are not, I think the grind, something about them, they're just not supposed to be used for razors. You're gonna have a hard time, I believe. All right, this guy's loaded up. He treated me really well yesterday. I was quite rewarded. Oh hey, there was, now what is, got a little, thought I cleaned that blade off yesterday. Did he pick up some debris from that cardboard sleeve I put around him? Okay, now the other side's clean. Interesting, I'll have to pay attention to that later. Hey, while I've got this thing apart, I want to take a second to show you. I just got this in. This is a razor case, and it's just a few dollars from AliExpress. And there's several different of the mini stores underneath the umbrella of AliExpress that carry these. Just a couple bucks, and it only cost a couple bucks to ship it to me. And so pretty inexpensive. I ordered 2 of them because I thought, while I've got the shipping, why don't I go ahead and get multiple, because if it does work. So what happens here is that you travel with your razor disassembled. This pocket up here is for your head, and then you've got a sleeve over here that's for your handle, and then down here is a spot for one of those plastic tucks or the cardboard tucks of razor blades for you to stick in there. And then this is kind of like a very low pile microfiber type material, and then it's got tiny little magnets there to keep it shut. And I mean, it's not exquisite craftsmanship. This is fake leather, and this one even has some kind of horrible gouge right back here, but I don't really care. I knew it wasn't going to be cosmetically gorgeous anyway. And of course the pouches here aren't really shaped, like you would imagine. They're just kind of like all they did was tack them into place. They didn't form them around a certain shape or anything like that. But I imagine if you did some traveling, then it would look a little nicer in terms of the shape here. But it does look like it would work. And so I think I'm happy with the purchase. And razors with really thick handles, obviously, are probably not going to be able to be carried this way, because this is pretty tight on the Sabre's handle there. A little bit of room, maybe another millimeter, but pretty close. But a lot of razors would fit in this. Now, so this is maybe about $6-7 total, including shipping. And it actually only took a couple of weeks to get it from China. So not really bad. And I'm pretty sure it would last a few years. So I think it's a pretty good price for that. If you want to go on Amazon, you can find some of these type things for like $30. And, you might get what you pay for. You might get something that lasts a lot longer. Now, one that I have seen that that is attractive to me is one from Spearhead Shaving. I think he's got an Etsy page, and he has a similar layout with a tube for the handle, and then these two things, and then he's got a flap over here that folds over, a flap over here that folds, and then two that snap, or it's vice versa. Maybe the two flaps are on the end and the sides are the ones that snap. I don't know for sure, but that looks really nice, and I know it'll last for just years and years. It looks really good. And sometimes he has a sale where he sells his seconds, like the people who sewed them together made a mistake, and so then you can save several dollars off of it. Now, they're not cheap comparatively. I think $20-30, somewhere around there. But if you're looking for something to protect a really nice razor, then maybe that's probably a decent investment, right? And this has a leathery kind of look. Of course, it's imitation leather. The one from Spearhead has more of a look of the khaki set from the vintage Gillette old type kind of thing. It looks like Army surplus in a sense. It's got that border around it and kind of a color scheme similar. But check it out if you think you might be interested in something like that. So I believe I'm happy with this purchase here. Cool. All right, so let's assemble this guy back. Oh, and let's compare. While I've got the razor in my hands, let me go ahead and assemble it. Here's that blade. What I normally carry my razors around in, I'll show you in just a second. I'm putting the nice thing about the single edge, you don't have to worry about blade alignment or anything. It's just it is locked in nicely. What I normally carry my stuff around in is an eyeglass case from the Dollar Tree. And as you can see, this is going to take up less space in my bag. Now, this one, of course, will fit any razor. A couple of razors if I wanted to maybe wrap one in the washcloth. And so if I had a thick handle, obviously, something like this. Now, it's not super thick. See, parts of it are thin where the razor is not there. But then parts of it are thick just because we have a zipper here. Anyway, this is $1. So I use this kind of thing a lot. Now, I could travel with 5 or 6 razors sometimes. All right, but just to show you, this is smaller. And it does seem to do the job for a good many razors that will, fit inside this little guy. All right, that was good because it looks like now this brush has been soaking for about half an hour. That's really nice. That'll probably help it to behave as well as can be expected, and I believe we're ready to go. Let me pause you, and I'm going to get my face wet. A few hours ago, maybe 5-6 hours ago, so a little bit more than a few, I sprayed on some Anthropophagy, a scent from Southern Witchcrafts, and man, I've just been enjoying that all day, and I'm still smelling a little bit of it around me. So hopefully it doesn't interfere too much with Ozymandias. Now we will load up, but let me open up my device here because I wanted to read to you. There are like 12 different notes here in terms of the scent here. And I just wanted to, as I mix the lather up, I wanted to talk about it. So now we've got that ready and I can read from that. All right. Ingredients, stearic acid, then water, then glycerin, beef tallow, castor oil, coconut oil. I just was reading a post recently about why coconut oil and palm kernel oil, you see those so often in a shaving soap, and that's to help it to lather up. Otherwise it would just kind of, it just wouldn't lather. And they are also very inexpensive ingredients to obtain. And so if you're trying to sell shaving soap, then you may want to choose easy to get ingredients that don't cost you all that much. And so that's the reason they're used. Now it's saying, and I was also reading that some makers are starting to exchange those oils with castor oil. And that's when you start to get the lathers that are lower structure and more gluey, that hang around kind of in the bottom of your bowl instead of puffing up a little bit. It's kind of medium strength out of the tub. And man, there are so many notes. The writing on this was really interesting. So I'm going to shake out much of the water at this point because we're not spraying a whole lot. This brush doesn't hold a ton of water. And then we will work on this let's do 35 seconds. So 15 rolled around right there. So that'll let me go to 45 plus 5. So we'll go to 50. Is that right? Am I? Oh no, 40. Yeah, 45. 15 to 45 would be 30. Yeah. Just check it now. It looks like I had a good bit of water because we are seeing some foam, some early lather pop up there, and there is 50. So I'm going to pour this excess foam in my lather bowl. All right, so let's start working that lather up. So Ozymandias has, quote unquote, vibrant dark woods teeming with creamy, refined Mysore sandalwood, finished impeccably with white musk and dark resinous vanilla. Kind of one of their starting paragraphs, and I'm going to add a little water to the lather. I've tried a couple of other APR soaps, and I've been very happy with the performance, and so I'm sure that this one is going to do the same. It also says that heart notes are of generous rosewood, beautiful floral orris, and the warmth of cedar resting on the sweetness of honey. Oh, it's looking good so far. And the last kind of one of the last paragraphs of relevant promotional stuff relating to the scent. The warming camaraderie of white rums, suitably aged and rested, accented by intangible suggestions of red cherry and blueberry as the fragrance opens. Man, there's all kinds of things going on in here. I think I pick up the light blueberry. maybe a little bit of the cherry. What's coming out? The musk, I think, maybe is what is coming out at me, almost like an aldehyde. The rosewood, I can pick up the rosewood. Cedar? Not really. Sandalwood? No. Maybe as a tiny supporting player. Oh, look at that. That's nice. And since this brush is nice, but it's still got a good bit of backbone, I'm going to leave it at this consistency. And we can always add a little bit of water if we need to. So, some of the notes: rosewood, oud, rum, orris root, cedar, sandalwood, white musk, vanilla, cherry, blueberry, honey, and ambergris. Do I smell any vanilla? No, it's not jumping out at me right away. Now this is also, seems like it could be a scent that could morph a little bit as we go on with the shave. Have some of those notes disappear as they burn off, which is what they're supposed to do. And then other parts might become more available. All right, throw a little bit of water on my face. All right, here we go. Just a 1 day growth today. And I believe the water here is pretty soft. Might have a small touch of hardness to it, but I think it's pretty soft. This is not a scratchy brush at this point at all. Pretty soft, comfy tips. Now you move on down about halfway down the shaft and it really starts to firm up is kind of what I'm feeling. My friend Buzz online has one of these guys. I think he has the black one. And I was so grateful because his was farther along than this one. He was able to reassure me. Keep using it, buddy. You'll get there. This is a wonderful lather. Very nice base. Feel creamy, pretty hydrated. You see how thin it is? It's not clumping or anything like that. It's creamy while being hydrated at the same time. Lesser soaps have to be dry to feel creamy. All right. Just a little more to work it into my skin. Yeah, those fruity and rose notes. Now the rosewood is really neat. Sometimes it acts like a sweetness with a hint of rose, and I don't think it's all that feminine in that situation because there's that woody accord with it, and it's not like some high, and as long as there's not a powdery aspect to the scent, then I think the rose can be a neat player in masculine scents. And it's definitely not overpowering with this one on a rose, but I think that sweetness of the rose is working with some of those fruits that I mentioned, and then I definitely get kind of a woody background, a little bit of musk. Those are some of the things that are standing out to me right now. I think we're ready to shave. And again, like yesterday, I'm going to focus on not holding this at an angle that is what I might use with a DE razor, with a double edge. I'm going to try to get this kind of faceplate here to almost touch my skin. I think that's going to reward me with a comfortable and close shave, just like yesterday. You can really tell that you're working with a blade that is more firm. If you're used to using double-edged blades, they're very thin. This guy's very fixed and firm, and you can tell there's just no give, there's less chatter. It's really sharp still, so it's cutting easily. I'm going to end up with a nice close shave, but the feeling is very different than many double-edged razors because of the firmness there, the consistency, that lack of chatter. All right. So I'm going to take the brush left over from the first pass, kind of shove it into the lather because this is a boar that doesn't kind of naturally splay out yet. So this shoves some of that lather in between there. The first pass felt a little thick, and as usual, second pass now feels perfect. So we'll go cross grain now, again watching my technique to keep that blade angle very small, which equates to a more open handle angle. Very nice. You know, that didn't look like a lot of soap on the brush when I pulled it out of the tub. But as you can see, this is going to be plenty of lather for the third pass. And then I've got probably another 2 passes in here. So this is a nice economical soap. Should give you plenty of uses per tub. And that's just with, looks like 3 teaspoons of water. And this might end up to be a lather I'm really happy with. I think so. Again, being very mindful of my angle. I think I messed up on it once, and I felt just a little bit of irritation over here. And right here I am feeling the hair being pushed on, and I would imagine sometimes cut. And this was a similar experience as yesterday. But then after the shave was done and I looked at it, it looked great. Just saw the tips of many hairs. And for me, not going against the grain, that is above average. Very happy with that result. And there we go. Oh, I have a tiny weeper right there. There's a little bit of blood right there. Barely even feel it. All right, guys. Well, that is a neat scent. Some of the notes that I might like to have seen in it, in terms of my nose experiencing it during the shave, that weren't as dominant as I might have liked, or the sandalwood, maybe some of the oud, some kind of the woody notes. So mostly what I am getting are the fruity type scents. And so in a sense it reminds me of Carnival, which is really kind of the reason I bought this lot of about 7 soaps, because I wanted to get Carnival from Storybook Soapworks, because they shut down and it's going to be harder to get. And there's some similar notes here, at least in perception, kind of sweet, fruity notes with the woody background. That might be kind of what Carnival is all about as well. The woody background makes it enjoyable for me, but the constancy of that fruitiness, the sweetness there is maybe keeps me from immediately being attracted to it. If the rum were a little bit stronger, maybe that would help. The musk is really helping. I like the addition there of the musk. Maybe a hint of vanilla, but honestly, it's probably the power of suggestion that is making me think about it. Yeah, so there we go. Maybe the honey. I think I smell the honey. All right. I'll have to think about this one. Like I said, because of the abundance of those fruity notes, and they never really gave way to anything stronger. Now, of course, if you were to buy the splash of this, or the cologne, if it's offered, you could see a much different portrayal of this scent profile, because of the medium soap can mask some pieces of the scent. They just don't come across when it's in lather form. All right, I'm going to clean up. Right now, I do feel just a couple of places. And that soap, that lather, has kind of left me, my skin's kind of dried out. And when I say that, I don't mean feels dry. It just doesn't feel like I just finished shaving with a lather, with a wet lather. It almost feels like I could just kind of wipe away, some of these suds and just go without a rinse. Maybe that's that castor oil and some of those other oil type, buttery type ingredients that maybe have absorbed into my face. My skin feels soft. And let's check out the closeness. Again, very close. Very happy with the result. Yeah, almost baby butt smooth on my cheeks, and then very nice. Just see a few tips and many. A few length and 1 or 2 tips that probably could be improved with another touch-up pass if I wanted, but this razor is just aggressive enough it's almost perfect for me if I kind of want to ride that edge and get as close as I can get while still staying comfortable. If I have a lapse in technique, if I open up that blade angle, if I close in the handle close to my skin just a little bit too much, then maybe I can give myself some irritation. But if I watch my technique, I think I end up with a really good face, a really comfy and close shave. So this is a nice piece of hardware. Get a full rinse here. So I have been curious about this scent for a good while, and so I'm so glad I got to try it out. And I think the perfect follow-up to this, these fruity parts, a little bit of woodiness, is going to be a sandalwood scent. So this is a balm, and I used it yesterday as well. And it's just straight sandalwood, and since this already has kind of a sandalwood component to it, it should really nicely blend in. It's almost very dry. Now in the description, I believe it also, yeah, it did say Mysore sandalwood, and that is what Barrister and Mann is using in their soft heart sandalwood that I used recently. Face was wet, so this spread kind of thinly and evenly, and my oily skin is fine with that. Oh, what a great scent. And that's working really well with this, the Lather soap scent. Excellent, excellent. Good shave. A little bit of irritation, but I think I probably got a little clumsy with maybe some directions that I was taking because this razor is making me hold it in a different way. It's making me watch my angles in a different way, and so it might take a little bit of learning to operate it really well. All right. Man, yeah, I'm a happy camper. This was a fun one, and I got to tell you a little bit about the case that I recently got, just a few dollars on AliExpress. And we'll see you next time. I sure hope there's been something in this shave that helps you out. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Take care.